I've actually gotten to a place where I don't think of religious experiences as different than even what I'm experiencing right now talking to you. I feel like sort of going back to what I was saying in the beginning, material things that have explanations, natural explanations that we can work out as scientists, unexplainable phenomena that might eventually have natural explanations, and unexplainable phenomena that maybe never will have natural explanations. These are all, crudely speaking, perhaps the bins that we could use for our various experiences. All of those are religious to me, in the sense that they are all, because all of this is sacred, right? And all these interactions are sacred. So I don't view one as more religious than another. But I think perhaps what you're getting at is that third bin, maybe the second and the third bin of unexplained phenomena, right? And to what extent are we going to be able to explain them or not explain them? To get to your question maybe first, sometimes we refer to this as the God of the gaps, right? Where we don't have an explanation, so we invoke God, right? And then, rainbow is this often used example of this, right? Like, oh, that's a sign from God, right? And then we realize, like, oh, this is physics, right? But those aren't two different things. You could have physics and also have it be a sign from God, right? So a natural explanation for something doesn't take away from God's authorship of that explanation, right? It actually just provides a wonderfully surprising color to actually how God might do that. Well, oh, okay, apparently it's not with a paintbrush, but it's through a different process, right? So yes, I do think that it could be a little dangerous, and so I think just, again, that humble posture of this is all a religious experience, whether I can explain it right now or not, whether we will ever be able to explain it or not, we'll see, right? But to me, it's all an opportunity to worship, right? Because then we just stop and we say, wow, it's so cool that God paints the sky in this particular way. Versus in ancient times, oh my gosh, God is painting with a paintbrush or whatever someone may have thought, right? Both are opportunities to worship, right? And we just take the additional knowledge that we have and work that into our religious experience.
What comes to mind for me is coming back to a native idea of everything being deeply interconnected. I think for you, for example, saying when you know or you feel that you're being guided and they're guided by God and there are validation points along the way and it doesn't feel mysterious, that's definitely a way it could happen. I think it doesn't have to be so unusual. And then the dangerous part, you could get in front of things and say this happened because of this was a spiritual thing that happened and unexplainable, and then later science comes along and explains it. But if we work from a premise, at least that most theologies, and certainly Navajo and certainly Christian, is that God made everything, right? So whether or not we understand every single part of his science, is probably arrogant to think that, and I don't think most of us do think that. I think we're very, very pleased when we unlock another piece of the universe and understand it, how it functions, because it's such an elegant universe with all of its physical principles and its math and its beauty. Oh my God, how is it that God made so many things that are just not only functional but beautiful in nature, beyond beautiful? It's like, imagine the abilities of a creator like that, So it's almost like you just kind of have to step back and say, we're part of this, and maybe we'll get the whole picture at some point, maybe we won't, but it's all good.
It reminds me of C.S. Lewis said, God is wild, right? He is not tame, nor can he be tamed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I bring that sensibility to my process of scientific discovery, or not the process, but perhaps my experience upon scientific discovery. I sort of have this mindset of I expect to be surprised. you know, and I expect to learn new things. I expect to discover, and when I do, it's an opportunity. It's an invitation to have a spiritual or worshipful experience.